Okay, this is the second video in the sequence of videos on the XProtect smart client that should be installed on your local workstation. And on video one talked about looking at the basic live and playback views. This video is on how to make a custom view, and I'm going to make one how I think he might want it for Mr. Tushlog as far as the bus areas. What I'm going to show you, you can make your own views inside the private tab. Like I've got this all cameras one in there in my private tab. Actually, I'm going to delete that because I got rid of it. I tried to put them all in one place, didn't work. But I'm going to make one for everybody. I'm going to make it in the shared one for everybody to be able to see, realizing that you can do the same thing in your private. You just can't make shared ones. So to do that, first of all, I'm going to hit setup. And I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to say new group. I just right-clicked new group, and I'm going to say bus cameras. So I've made that group or that folder, and then inside that folder now, and moved up here, I've got nothing. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to make a new view. Now, whether it's 4:3 or 16:9 is dependent on what kind of monitor you have. I'm using a relatively square monitor. I'm not using widescreen monitors. If you had a really widescreen monitor, you might want to do that. So that's dependent on what kind of view. It means, are these going to be spread really wide, or do you want it to be square like what I'm looking at here on my screen? It's actually a widescreen monitor, but I want to be able to keep the controls up at the top and have full screen, so I'm using this one. So the first thing you do is you choose what kind of view are you going to make. This is one camera. This is two cameras, one big on top, one little on the bottom. This is two cameras, one little on top, one big on the bottom. This is two cameras split up and bottom, side by side. This is three cameras. You can see obviously how that works. I'm going to go ahead and pick a 3x3 for this, not knowing actually how many cameras we're going to end up with, but I'm going to start out with this one. Just so you know, once you pick a view and you start making it, you cannot change it later. You have to delete the view and start all over again. So I'd rather do a bigger one and try to have one blank spot than to pick a smaller one and start all over. That's personal preference. So I'm going to make this one a 3x3 9 view, which is actually what we're looking at now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and now I have opened up a blank view. And I need to drag cameras inside here. And there's a couple different ways to grab those cameras. I'm going to go ahead and call this all buses. I don't know, maybe a better name for it than that. And then I'm going to shrink down all these other things so I can see the stuff from up top or down the bottom, because really I'm coming down here to the camera servers. So I'm going to open up server. There are two servers. There's half the server cameras are on server 1 and half of them are on server 2. So I'm going to start with server 1. I click on cameras, and now I'm going to be able to see all the cameras that are there. Now I tried to name them, start them with NTES and NTHS, and so I'm going to go down all the way to the bottom of the cameras because I tried to add NTLS as the ones that are district cameras, which I would consider all the bus things district cameras. So if I'm just looking for the bus cameras, it says bus MEX. It's supposed to be bus MES, the entrance from the oh no, that's the MES looking down towards the, or from the bus entrance, which really doesn't impact looking at the buses. So let me see, there we go. There's one of the bus loading cameras. There's the bus entry camera. I'm going to stick that down here just in case he wants to see people coming in and off the bus. And I don't see outside band camera. Let's see what that one is. Oh, that's outside the band room. Don't need that one. So it looks like that's it on server number 1. So then I'm going to go to server number 2 and go to the cameras here. And again, all the cameras aren't up yet, so I'm not going to have them all on here. Let's see, the cell tower camera, I'm going to throw it down here and see if that gets, it does, it gets part of his bus parking area. I'm sure he's going to want that down there. And I know there's one for the bus lot. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, there's a bus drop off. There's a bus drop off. I'm going to put the student parking down here since I got room for 9 because that covers the turnaround area. Um, let's see, the student lot exit camera, that doesn't really affect the buses, although John may want to add those on there. And I'm missing something because I know there were more bus cameras than that. There we go. I finally found the other camera. It's a bus storage camera, and should have had that was on server number 1. So I've got all those done. All I then have to do is close the setup, and now I've got that in the shared folder up here. If I go up here now, anybody can go to bus cameras and go to all buses, and there are still cameras to be left, so it's probably a good idea that I left these 2 here because there may be other cameras that go in there that we end up putting in and dropping in. I only have 7, so since there's only 7 on here, I might be able to make one of these a main one and the other ones go around it with the different views that you were looking at, because when I do views, you do have the ability to make one. Let me go ahead and make new view. There's a number of them where the view is a main one and then ones that circle around it. So you can see this is a main one with 4 around it. This is a main one with 5 around it. This is a main one with 6 around it. So if you had one that you knew, hey, this is where stuff happens, and I want to also see what's going on in these areas, you could easily do that. And that almost fits that requirement right there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out making that view right there, and that's it for making views. And like I said, in your private area you can make a folder and you could make any number of views that you might want to. John might want to have just a 4 view that has these 3 bus drop-off areas and this one, so you got these 4 together because that covers everything that happens in the bus area. So if he's looking for an incident, all I have to do is do playback, and on that playback, and I have all those together at one place. In fact, I'm going to make one right now that does that because that actually makes sense, just having those 4 together for that. But I know that he's going to want to watch or be able to pull up the ones out here too. You might want to make one that just has 2, that just has this one and this one, so there's an incident out at his buses. He has an easy way to just view those incident cameras together. But you can see all you have to do is hit setup, make that, and then go back to live feed, and you're back viewing that. Again, I want to reiterate that this pulls all this feed through our network as you can. And with I get all the lists of all the cameras in one place, and that crashed my